cookery editor of Women's Weekly magazine, and I'm going to show you how to cover a cake in rolled fondant. The cake that I have is a fruit cake, and I've already covered it with marzipan, and that forms a nice smooth base for putting the sugar paste on. And I've got the sugar paste, which I've bought ready coloured in pink, and I'm going to knead it to get it nice and soft. So once it's soft and a nice smooth satin-like surface, I'm going to dust some icing sugar onto the work surface, and then I'm going to roll it out. And it's a bit like using marzipan. You need to keep turning the sugar paste to make sure that it doesn't stick to the work surface. And then just have a look at it and see if you can see any air bubbles in the surface. If you can, it's easier to get rid of them at this stage. So I'm using a scribing needle, or you can use a pin, just to pierce them, and then press out any air and rub it smooth. Now, to stick the icing onto the marzipan, I'm going to need to wet the marzipan. And you can use a pastry brush, but I actually find the easiest way to make sure that it's well covered is to use my hand. And I'm wetting all the surface of the marzipan. Then before I pick up the sugar paste, I'm just going to dry my hands so that my hands won't stick to the sugar paste. Then I'm going to lift it and rest it over the cake. So firstly, I'm making sure that there's no air trapped underneath the icing. And then I'm going to press it down against the sides. Now I need to trim away the excess sugar paste around the base of the cake. I normally do it fairly roughly to begin with, and then I can go around again a little neater. Then the trimmings can be kneaded together into a ball and wrapped in a plastic bag. The sugar paste dries out more quickly than the marzipan does, so all the time you're not working with it, you do need to keep it well covered, otherwise the surface of it will dry out. And I'm putting a little bit of icing sugar on the top. And I'm going to rub the top flat with the icing smoother. And then I'm going to rub the sides smooth. Then once I've done the sides, I'm going to use the part of my hand between my thumb and my finger to rub over the top edge to give a nice smooth curve. So if I'm doing a cake such as a bottom tier of a wedding cake, or any cake where it's just a single cake on a board, I think it's nice to cover the board with the sugar paste too. So what I've done here is I've covered the top and the sides, and I had the sugar paste rolled out a little bit bigger, so it's covered the top of the cake board as well. So as well as wetting the marzipan with water, I also wet the top rim of the cake board with water so that it's stuck. And then you can work around the cake and use the smoother to flatten out the sugar paste. And then use a knife to cut around the edge. You can also use the smoother to make sure that you work it out so it's an even thickness going all the way around. So this is my finished cake with the sugar paste on it. For ideas on how to decorate it, either for a wedding cake, for if it needs to be stacked and decorated, or for a birthday or a Christmas cake, have a look at the other videos on the Good to Know website.